support that the Army provided in response to the wildfires. I know those of us in Southern California greatly appreciate the support. Mr. Secretary General, I, along with other members of the committee, are concerned about the implementation of the new national defense areas along our southern border. The transfer of land from the Department of the Interior to the Department of Defense without congressional approval. Mr. Secretary, can you walk us through what occurs when a soldier encounters a migrant in one of the national defense areas? How long is someone detained by soldiers before they're transferred to CBP authority?
The national defense areas, we, the United States Army, stand prepared to take them on when they are transferred to us. We immediately treat them like an Army base, which we have a lot of experience providing security coverage on. When I'm on Army bases, I've been traveling the last 75 days, you see armed security on all of these bases, and we look at the fact-specific around the base to figure out what level of security should we be providing. And so the Army is very well trained with this. We have 250 years of providing security on our bases. And then specifically to your question, Congressman, what the soldiers will do is they do not have law enforcement functions, and so they will hold them for a reasonable period of time if for law enforcement to come take over and do their functions.
What's a reasonable period of time, and what do those conditions or facilities look like as they're being held?
As I understand it, Congressman, the reasonable test that occurs in many areas of the law varies based off the situation, and so our soldiers are incredibly well trained to not get outside of their duties, and they will be professionals every single time.
Can you give me one example? I know there's various, but can you give me one example of what it would look like?
Right now, we visited our 10th Mountain Division that's out of Fort Huachuca down on the border, and what they're doing is providing patrols and overwatch, and so they had strikers up on a hill, and they were looking through the equipment, and when they would see an illegal immigrant cross the border, they would call the Customs and Border Patrol. Those agents would then go interdict that person, and so we've been doing it for the last couple of months with no problem so far.
Is there any specialized training that the Army is giving these individuals to provide that overwatch in these new national defense areas?
So I think we're doing a lot of these missions that we do as far as doing security missions, patrolling, reconnaissance. These are things that we are trained at and very good at. Everywhere that we've been down there, and we talk almost every week to the folks that are down there that are doing this. It's a NORTHCOM mission, but there's a very close relationship with Customs and Border Patrol. Soldiers understand what their rules of engagement are, what they're supposed to do, and same thing, because this is a Department of Homeland Security mission, how they would handle that with them. So there's really close coordination, and honestly, I've had none of those issues have come up, and we talk to them quite a bit.
And Congressman, qualitatively, it's not quantitative, of course, soldiers seem to value the mission. They enjoy doing this. They think it's adding a lot of value. I think the partnership with the Customs and Border Patrol, I think when we've spoken to those agents, they have valued having soldiers, and it goes both ways. And so, at least from what we've been able to see, it's been working so far.
What missions are being delayed or diverted while this is made a priority? I understand that soldiers appreciate being active and being out there. What are we not doing by doing this?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we're not doing. I mean, it's an important mission, as Sec Army said. Our troops are excited to do this. I've talked to there's 2nd Brigade, 4th ID that's down there in 10th Mountain. Part of what we're doing, they're doing a lot of the missions that they would tend to have to be trained to do. We are also working with them while they're down there to make sure, again, back to the transforming in contact. What can we do to update their network while they're down there? They're learning a lot. They're helping us with the counter UAS mission. So, again, I think that's what we're trying to do. We're finding a lot of value in what we're doing down there.
Would the gentleman yield for a minute?
Yeah, I'll yield to the ranking member.
20 seconds you have left. So you talk about training. When you're defending a military base, and that's been your description of this, whether it's at home or whether it's abroad, there's lethality involved. There is amount of intentional force that can be used that might not be lethal. And so the things that the Custom and Border agents don't necessarily do. So Mr. Aguilar asks a very good question. How long, how fast, and what kind of training's going on? Because the last thing I know the United States Army wants, because there's going to be language challenges and everything else, is for an unintended consequence where somebody is either seriously harmed or, you know, hopefully this doesn't happen, but lethality is used. So I think it is an important question to ask that Mr. Aguilar asked, and I didn't hear a good answer on what you're doing for training. Thank you, Mr. Aguilar.
Just real briefly, Mr. Chairman, sorry, I think asking the question about cost is also, you know, important. That's why we're here. There's a cost to this mission. But with everything that this committee is focused on in Indo-PACOM, I just struggle to think what we're doing here in this new authority, in this new designation, how is it helping prepare us from an Indo-PACOM perspective? I think that's a concern that all of us should have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Womack.
Thank you.